To check or not to check? What about these rebates? We're joined now by a great panel here. Congressman Scott Garrett is Republican from New Jersey. We also have Tobin Smith of Change Wave Research. In Chicago, Jennifer Waters of MarketWatch.com, who's been talking to people all around the city there and finding out what they think, and Julie Satow of the New York Sun. Welcome to all of you. Representative Garrett, I will start with you. Sure. Do you like the idea of rebates? Does this work?
Well, I like the fact that the president's out front saying that something needs to be done now. He's using the bully pulpit of the White House to say that the economy is a bit off from where it should be before. And he's also doing something else as well. He's tying in the rebate idea, which you might see as the political expediency at the time that we're in right now, saying you have to do that because the Democrats, as we just learned, want to give us taxes and spending at the same time. But what the Republicans want to do is give us more economic growth through tax cuts. So the president is throwing that out just to get the Democrats in.
But do you like the idea of, let's just say the $800 number here of a check going into the hands of who knows who, because we haven't seen the details yet?
Sure. I only like it to the extent if we can get something else out of it from the Democrats. We had Bernanke coming to our committee yesterday. I threw out the question to him. I said, shouldn't you be looking at history on this? What has happened in the past? And we saw what happened. It didn't really pan out.
And here is his response to that, because it was an interesting question, and he did respond. Listen in.
I certainly take your point that there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of how big the effect would be and how quickly it would be felt, which is one of the reasons for considering perhaps a combination of issues, a combination of programs, to kind of diversify your risk, so to speak.
So you weren't the one who thought he went to Goldman Sachs. That was somebody else.
Excellent. Amazing thing happened.
Tobin, the Congressional Budget Office says rebates work, and that spending in the quarter right after the 2001 rebates actually jumped. Personal spending. You're shaking your head right now.
Well, I mean, first off, is it amazing to me that the Republicans have outbid the Democrats on spending money that we don't have? My Lord, where we come? Let's the reality. The University of Michigan did a long-term study on this in 2001. They proved beyond a shadow of a doubt 2/3 of the money went into the bank, number one. Number two, we're pretending like this is 2001. It's not. In 2001, we had 1% interest rates from the Fed. We had a housing market that had never stopped, that actually took off. And then number three, of course, we had the greatest tax cut of all time. Now we're talking about this little pop gun, $150 billion in a $14 billion economy that's like a heroin shot, or let's use sugar because I'm more relating to sugar. When you go to the sugar store and you get that shot, the next day, I want to know, give me more. What do we do for the crescendo?
Julie Satow, what do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't actually agree more. I think this is way too late. We're way too late in the game. I think usually these stimulus packages, once they actually start taking effect, the economy is already starting to do better. So, exactly. And then you have the inflationary problems. I think inflationary pressures come because the package comes too late after the economy is doing better.
Jennifer Waters, you went out and you started asking questions of people. Tell us what you heard. And by the way, I want our people to know on MarketWatch.com, this article that she wrote got a ton of response. Jennifer.
Ton. It did. I was amazed at how much response I got from that, as well as all the people I talked to. And I'm telling you, I talked to people who were low income, moderate income, and upper incomes, and asked them all the same question. And what the CBO paper said this week was that the people with lower income tend to go out and spend the money, which is why they were targeting it to low and moderate income people, whereas higher income people tended to save it. Or, it's just like $800 to somebody who makes a ton of money is nothing. So, but what I found out when I was talking to people today is that the lower and moderate income people, and I've talked to people the last few days, the lower and moderate income people are saying, you know what, I need new tires, or I'm going to put this towards my mortgage, or I've got a debt from Christmas I need to pay out.
Representative?
Exactly. And the higher income people who I talked to said, you know what, $800, $1,000, $1,600 is not going to make that big of a difference to me. I'll probably go on a vacation, or maybe I'll spend it on clothes.
Does it put the skids representative on a recession that might be close?
It doesn't put the skids on them, and that's why Bernanke says if we're going to do anything, you have to do it very quickly in the next 30 to 60 days. And in politics, probably things don't happen that quickly. The best thing you can take out of this is that it helps to counteract the drive-by media that has just been beating down the economy day after day, week after week, month after month. They seem to forget that the economy where we are right now has been a great one up until this point of time. You had 52 weeks, 52 months of
but it wasn't based in reality.
But
it's still a great.
But Representative, I want to wake up and look like Tom, Brad Pitt tomorrow. That's not going to happen either. We're living in this denial. We've had a 5.5-year run, or maybe Brad Pitt. We had a 5.5-year run. Our research at ChangeWave has shown that the high-end spenders, the top 20% who account for 80% of discretionary spending, have already pulled back, and they're doing two things. They're saving more because they're seeing their home go down and their stocks go down, and they're spending less. If you multiply that times 4, which is what their impact is on our economy, we are in a recession. It's bad news, but guess what? We'll live through it.
And so that's the reason why you need to go beyond this just fluff stuff, which is the rebates right now, and get people off the sidelines.
Right.
And the way you get people off the sidelines is to give security and confidence to the market. How do you do that? By saying, first of all, saying to Charlie Rangel, forget about your ideas about repealing all the tax cuts. Because the investor will say,
he's calling for a bigger tax cut for corporate taxes, though.
Well, maybe
which they're never going to spend, until next year.
I would agree with Charlie Rangel.
Here's what I wonder, though, is why have we not heard them talking about putting the money back into the economy through some kind of federal program that creates jobs? I mean, housing is our number one issue.
It doesn't happen quickly, Jennifer. That would take 2 years. They'd have to figure out what a job is, and then they'd have to figure out how to fund it. All due respect.
We talk a lot about infrastructure.
Hold on. Go ahead, Julie.
No, I was also just say, if they're going to give rebates, I would rather them give them to companies so they can actually use them to create more jobs rather than to individual people. I really don't understand.
And you would advocate that.
We would advocate that. Matter of fact, Garrett Cantor's leading on the legislation to do that. You lower the corporate tax rate. You increase expensing deductions right now, so investors and corporations can say,
this plan is just politics.
And that would put the money in, and that would go back to the
Okay, so on that note, let's sing Kumbaya on cutting taxes, at least incentivizing some of the smaller businesses. Our thanks to Representative Scott Garrett, Tobin Smith, Jennifer Waters, and Julie Satow. Thanks to all of you.